What's up, everyone? Bob's Blu-rays here, and today I'm finally bringing back the series Getting to Know Me More Than Movies. Now, it has been a while, several months since I've dropped my last video on the series. I think the last one was on running, so that was a couple months ago, so I'm really looking forward to this today. So stay tuned, and I'll get into it after this intro.
Rosalie. No, you know better than that. Don't back up on the stairs. What are you trying to do?
All right, so like I said, it has been a while since I've dropped a video for this series. I love doing this. It's probably one of my favorite things to do on YouTube because it gives me the opportunity to be vulnerable and also very real and honest and open. And it's just something I don't always get the opportunity to do. And I want to make sure I am always going to be that way. So today I'm going to be discussing being an uncle, my relationship with my niece and nephew. I am a godfather to my niece Rosalie, my goddaughter Rosalie, and then there's Benton as well, which is my sister's second child. So I can't wait to get into this, dive into this a little bit. I have so much to say. I just hope I don't forget. Oftentimes when the camera starts rolling, I know beforehand what I want to say, and then I finish recording and I'm like, oh, I didn't even talk about this, or I didn't talk about that. It happens so often with these videos in particular, so I'm going to try and remember everything that I want to talk about. I should really write it down, but I don't. I just kind of let it flow. That's why I ramble often. So let's go ahead and dive into the very first movie we'll talk about. Now, this movie isn't something that plays huge or a big factor into the uncle relationship, but it's Vegas Vacation. You got Uncle Eddie. Uncle Eddie's hilarious, right? Most people enjoy Uncle Eddie. He's a little bit of an idiot. He's kind of stupid at times, right? And I can be an idiot at times. But he's fun. He's fun, and I was kind of having a hard time finding 3 movies that I actually own that are heavily, or I've seen, that heavily play into the uncle factor. So I thought this would be a good third option here. So we're going to go with Vacation here. You got Uncle Eddie. He's literally on the back of it right here. And I feel like at times this could be my relationship with my sister. I get along with my sister super well. I have 2 of them. But Uncle Eddie and Chevy Chase's character, you know, they have good banter, and I feel like that's my sister and I. So yeah, anyway, so we're gonna go with Vacation for the first option there. I feel like I can relate in some aspects to Cousin Eddie, but yeah, he's a fun uncle, I guess. So my second option here is going to have the word uncle in it. We have got Uncle Buck, hoping for a 4K of this movie. Uncle Buck's great. It's a great movie. I've only seen it once, and I'm in desperate need of a rewatch, and I really should have rewatched it before I put this video out so I could talk more about it, but I'm unable to do so. But one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the giant, enormous pancakes. The pancake that he makes. It's incredible. It's awesome. It's amazing. I love it. I'm a big pancake guy. I just think it's so much fun. But he's a great uncle. He cares about his kid. He cares about the kids, and he'll do a lot for them. And there's some great comedic moments in this movie, like in the principal, I believe it is, with the mole on her. He's like, you know, here's a quarter to have the rat chew that mole off your face or whatever. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he's great. This movie's great. Hoping Kino puts it out on 4K. I know it's rumored, but I'm in desperate need of a rewatch of this, and I really should have rewatched this before I talked about it today. But I'm going to go with Uncle Buck. It's a great uncle movie. You got some great elements in that, some comedic elements, and I feel like I could relate to Uncle Buck a little bit. I oftentimes in these episodes, what I do is I pull out the 3 movies, and then I'll probably talk for 15 or 20 minutes about my relationship with my niece and nephew. But I have a lot to say, so hopefully I don't forget it all, like I said. But before we go ahead and dive into any more of that in particular, let's go ahead and dive into the third movie, which I just watched for the first time. So I wanted to watch it to see if it would go on this list. Loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I was in love with it. I love Chris Evans. I love his character in this. This movie is incredible. Like, I was very emotional watching this. I think I cried twice during this one towards the end. You've got an uncle here. His sister, and this isn't like a spoiler, I won't spoil the movie. His sister passes away. They don't show it, but she passes away very early on, before the movie starts. And he takes over, like, he doesn't have custody, but he ends up taking in his sister's daughter, and so his niece. And later on in the movie, his mother, basically the story is his mother fights for custody of her. And so they go to court, and there's some courtroom drama stuff in this movie, but it's fun. You got Octavia Spencer in this as well. What is her name? She's not even on the back of it. How dare them not put her on the back? Jenny Slate. She's literally on the front right there. So they got her on the front here, but they don't have her on the back for some reason. So I'm looking at the back, but I couldn't find it. But I loved Gifted. I loved it. She's a very gifted child. She's very smart. And it's such a good movie. It's very emotional. He wants to do what's best for her. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to dive too much into it. But the way he cares for her, like, I could relate to that, right? My niece came first. She's almost 4 years old. And I adore her. Adore everything about her. And in this movie, you see that, and I'm sure fathers can relate to this, of course, as well, right? No relationship with your kids, your niece, your nephew, cousins, aunts, uncles, anything is perfect. And there are moments in this movie where he loves his niece, right? But he wants that privacy. He deserves that. And she, in one scene, kind of breaks that. And there's a Lego toy he steps on, and he's like, these things should be illegal. The maker of this should be arrested. Because, yeah, those things do hurt to step on. But you could see that, and I can relate to that, right? Like, I would love to spend a ton of time with my niece, but then there's times where I love when I am able to kind of give her back to my sister. And so this one was super relatable to me. Absolutely loved it. Super emotional. Like I said, I teared up multiple times, dripping down my face. Seriously, I no shame in that. It just, some movies hit home with you, and this definitely did. And it really hits home because of what I'm going to talk about in particular. Hopefully I don't get too emotional. I feel like at times I'm not in my niece's life enough. So my sister, she gave her a little phone, 4-year-old's phone. So a little toy phone or play phone, right? And one day, and these things, they're small, but they mean something to me, right? One day my sister tells me, she's like, Rosalie calls Colleen, which is my other sister, and Grandma all the time on her play phone, but she never calls you. And that hurt in a way, because it's like, and Aaron didn't mean anything by it, my sister, of course, but I actually took it to heart, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm in her life enough. So she was born in 2019, like November. And so in 2020, COVID happened, and I spent a ton of time with her. I was with her all the time. I was out of work. I couldn't work because the gyms were closed down. And so I was taking a bunch of time off of work for a couple months, and I spent a bunch of time with her. And it was just her. There was no Benton at the time. And so I just adored her and just loved spending so much time with her. And there's so many pictures I have on my phone. As I was making this video beforehand, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I have a single picture of myself and Benton, or just Benton by himself. I have like 200 or 300 photos or more of Rosalie on my phone, and I don't know if I have a single one of Benton. And when I came home from Iowa last month, about a month and a half ago or whatever, I went to my cousin's like housewarming party. And what do? I always go straight to Rosalie. That's the first thing I do. Usually my sister and Rosalie and Benton. And so I went in the backyard. They were there, and I was, Rosalie comes running into my arms. And let me tell you, and any father out there, anybody who has these moments will absolutely understand what I'm talking about, from Dell to KB to Adam to everyone that is a father, right? Everyone out there that is a father can relate to these moments. And I've had conversations with my friends. But when I go to this party, and the first thing she does is she gets off the swing, the play set, and she runs into my arms, and they're small at the time. And so her head is like right in your waist, and she just wraps her hands around you. And it's in those moments, everything else in the world fades. Like nothing else matters. It's like when you watch a good movie and you get lost in the movie, right? Nothing else in that moment matters. And or when I go for a run, I lose sight of everything else. I'm focused on what's at hand in that moment, and I lose sight of everything else. And there was another time at a party, Erin's party, my sister's, and Rosalie was like, kids, they have rough moments or whatever it is. And I don't know what happened. She was tired or whatever, but I was sitting at the table with a bunch of people talking, and she comes like kind of up the stairs, and she just like lays her head in my lap where I'm sitting, and she just like rested. She just went up to me. And those moments, they're the greatest moments, seriously, in my life, because, and I'm not even being sarcastic, those moments, everything, when Rosalie gives me a hug, those are the moments everything else melts away. It's just, they're the best moments. Like I said, those bear hugs from a kid, they're the greatest, especially when it's someone you love. It's your nephew, niece, your own kid, things like that. And at that same party when I came home from Iowa, so Rosalie comes and kind of gives me a hug and, hey, Bobby. And Benton, I went to go like kind of pick him up or whatever. And he's only a year and a half, not even yet. So I know they're young at this age, and he's not really talking much at all. I don't think he's a year and a half yet, but he was like scared of me. And my sister was like, oh my goodness, he's scared of you. And I know they're young at that age, right? But they have their people they trust, and obviously my mom, his grandmother, and his mother and dad and all that stuff. And it made me realize, it really opened up my eyes and kind of broke my heart, because I realized, yes, I understand he's young, but I'm not in his life enough that he knows who I am, that he trusts me, right? I go to pick him up, and so that broke my heart, and obviously, like, Rosalie, and she'll get to an age where she just, phone or whatever, social media or TikTok or who knows is more important than me or her dad or whatever, who knows, I don't know. But the fact that, like, Rosalie doesn't, she's got her little play phone, doesn't call me, right? It actually, I feel that. And so the next day after that, I remember calling my sister on the phone. I was like, let me talk to Rosalie. But I realized, like, my sister, Colleen, her and I don't have the greatest relationship, but she's great. She is. And her and I kind of battle it out for being the better aunt or the better uncle. Like, I know that's pathetic. It's kind of sad, but when we were younger, I feel like Rosalie definitely clinged to me more than my sister, Colleen. And now it's the other way around. I feel like she, but Colleen spends a lot of time with her. She takes her out a lot. She'll take my sister's car and go take her out. And I don't spend enough time with her. I really only see my niece and my nephew at parties. And so I know, it's important to have conversations with yourself and be real, okay? And I know sometimes it's a little bit harsh. You could be harsh with yourself, but it's important to look at yourself in the mirror, or if people call you out, right? Things can be hurtful, but you got to understand if somebody's coming from a place of love or not. And I had a conversation with myself and was like, you need to be better. And yes, I'm busy. I work a lot, okay? Sometimes 12 to 15 hour days. But then there's days where I don't work, right? Sometimes 7 to 10 days in a row I work. But I know that I can be a part of... Now, she lives 40 minutes from me, so it's not the closest, but it's also not the farthest. And maybe 30 minutes even. And I could easily spend more time with her, and I need to. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I spend a lot of time watching movies in my free time. Obviously, I live on my own, and if I'm not working, I'm probably watching movies. I don't sleep a whole ton. So I feel like I need to do a better job of being in my niece's life more. And I guess I'd be willing to challenge other people out there, whether you're a father and an uncle yourself. Are you in your life? Are you in your nieces or nephews or daughters or son's life enough? You know, I have conversations with my very, very, very close friend Adam. Goes by Adam the Movie Hunter on Instagram. He's a father of three and a great husband, and his wife is amazing. And it's really cool because his entire family knows me. This is an Instagram relationship we built that has turned into a great friendship. Like, he's like a brother to me, and I adore his entire family. And it just means it means the world to me, their friendship. But I see the kind of father he is, right? And I hear the stories he'll talk about. Him and Wendy are terrific, and he loves his kids. And there are days where they will frustrate him or stress him out, right? But he will talk about how much he loves his kids and how he has to reprimand them or something like that. And I understand that. And I've had conversations, and I know this video is all over the place, so I do apologize. But this is an opportunity for you to get to know me, more than movies and who I am. And I've had conversations. This was a long time ago. I've had friends, very close friends of mine, that would tell me, like my buddy Mike, who goes by Magic Hands. He'll tell anybody, the day he held his first kid in his arms, changed everything. My buddy Justin, who I don't talk to anymore, my buddy Ryan, who just had twins, and Adam, from Dell to KB to any of them, right? They will all tell me how amazing it was holding their child in the arm for the first time. And the moment, and I'll put a picture up here of this really quick. But one of the best moments in my entire life was holding Rosalie in my arms for the first time. And I know she's just my niece. She's not my daughter, of course. But I got it. Like, it clicked. In that moment, everything that I heard from all of you who have told me it, from my good friends out here who don't probably watch my channel, I understood. Like, in that moment, in 2019, it clicked. It laying in that, like sitting in that chair in the hospital room, everything came together. You understood what people say, right? Like, it's one of those things you can understand or try to relate to it or try to understand where people are coming from. And I knew why it would be an impactful moment, but until I got to experience it myself, holding my niece in my arms for the first time, I never fully understood the impact that would have on me. And in that moment, just clicked. I was like, I would do anything for this little girl. And once again, she's just my niece, right? Just my goddaughter. It meant the world when my sister asked me and my other sister to be the goddaughter and godfather. So, or godfather and godmother. But it meant the world, and I know that I need to be better. And, movies are a love for a lot of us, right? If you're watching this. But I know that there are other important things in this world as well. Like, to me, running, obviously work pays the bills, things like that. But my relationship with my niece and nephew needs to be better, and that's on me. I need to spend more time with them. And so that's something that I'm posting this to be accountable to myself, right? Because it's out there, I make it public, that I need to be a better uncle, that I need to be in their life more, especially Benton, but both of them. I mean, he doesn't even really know who I am, and he's a little over a year old. So I know that I can be better. But I really just wanted to share that. I wanted to, give a shout out to as many, of you fathers out there as I could. And there's so many more of you. I know there is, and I apologize if I didn't name you by name. But, when I name drop people, I know sometimes that bothers some people. But please understand, like, the reason I do that is because I love the people in this community. I love a lot of the people. And so when I name drop you, it's just because you mean so much to me, and your relationship does. And I hope Adam understands how much his friendship and means to me. I get the opportunity. Vinicio is another one. If you follow either one of them on Instagram, you'll see. But just the kind of fathers that they are. Now, some people are private with it, right? They're great fathers, but they don't want to put their kids out there, right? I know Ken's a great dad. He's another example. Tony as well. And Tony, your kids are grown up, obviously. But Adam and Vinicio are very public with it. They'll post it on their stories and they'll share just how supportive they are of their kids going to baseball games, soccer games, things like that, both of them. But I talk to Adam on a daily basis and I get the opportunity to learn from him. And that may sound cheesy or corny to some of you, but you can absolutely learn and grow from people in this community and friends, right? My buddy Ryan, who just had twins, congrats to him. But yeah, Adam has given me an opportunity to see and learn and grow as a person from watching him and the kind of husband and the kind of father he is. And I mean that. I don't say things I don't blow smoke out of my ass, right? I mean what I say. I have a buddy, his name is Deepak. Him and I talk every once in a while on the phone, about once or twice a week. And I can't express enough how amazing of a father this guy is. How amazing he is, how much he loves his son and daughter. And it's amazing. It's incredible. And he's given me advice and talked to me. Because whether you're an uncle or a father, you can learn things. And I know I do, I need to. So, and Pops, he's another one. Pops Movie Dungeon. He has a great relationship with his kids, and his relationship with his kids reminds me a lot of my relationship with my own dad. And, Pops sets a great example, and I look up to him for that. I don't talk to him a ton, but he's another one I just honestly look up to, his relationship he has with his kids. And, somebody out there, my buddy Johnny, a very good friend of mine. I met him 5 years on Instagram, 5 years ago. Nobody really knows who he is because he's not part of the physical media movie community. Loves movies. I met him through movies, but he is a great father. He sets great examples every day, man. I see him post on Instagram. He'll talk to me about it. And he's another one to give me advice. And so honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I just really appreciate all of you out there who set examples. Even if you don't know it, if you're posting or something like that, if you set a good example, I take notice and I'm sure others do as well. And you could easily set a good example, whether you're a mother, an aunt, father, an uncle, any of that stuff, a grandfather, set examples and other people will take notice. You don't know the difference you can make in somebody's life. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's different. I tried not to get too emotional, talking about my niece. I could easily get welled up or emotional, teared up. I adore my niece. Like I said, those moments with her are the greatest in the world, I swear. They can't be matched, those moments. The one time she ran into my arms and you just pick her up and they have the biggest smile on their face. It is amazing. Just words can't describe it. You know how you have such an amazing moment and you just can't even put it into words? You just gotta be there. You just live in that moment, And so, yeah, there's a lot of those moments when I see her and I just pick her up and it just takes every worry, every care, every stress. No matter what I'm going through, it just washes it away in that moment. You just hold your niece in your arms and that's all. So, like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. To all you fathers out there, all you uncles, if I've ever talked to you about it or anything, just even being around me or thanks for being good examples and helping me understand how to be a better uncle. I appreciate that. But I'm going to go ahead and post a couple pictures, couple videos possibly of Rosalie in particular. It's funny, I reached out to my sister Erin before I made this video about a week or two ago or 3 weeks ago, and I asked her if it was okay if I posted pictures of her, Rosalie, and she was like, you got to talk to Jake, which is my brother-in-law. And so I called him and he was like, yeah, is it weird? What are you doing? And I was like, no, just on my channel for this segment I do, More Than Movies. And he was okay with it. And Aaron didn't think he would go for it. But that's how I am. If I do a Hall of Fame stream and I'm using highlight reels of kids, I will reach out to Ken or Michelle and say, hey, can I use, this clip? Because kids are totally different. That's kind of off limits. You got to ask first. So even though it's my niece, I definitely asked first and I did get permission so I could post a couple pictures. But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear, do you have kids? Things like that. What you do for fun with your kids, how much you love your kids. Trust me, I love hearing that. But yeah, I guess my challenge out there to all of you out there today, fathers or uncles out there, is do something this week with your kids or kid. Pick one and do something with them. Just the two of you. Take them out, go to the movies, go to lunch, go grab dinner, go throw the baseball around, football around. Do something. I challenge all of you out there today. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I post pictures with my dad a lot. And I just think that's awesome, man. I think it's super important. Take that time to spend with your kids. So I challenge all of you today, especially if you're not active in your kids' lives, go do something today. Get them to shut the phone off, walk away from social media, whatever it is. Go throw the baseball around with them. Do anything. I don't know what it is that you do with your kids, but I challenge all of you to challenge yourself. I know I'm challenging myself to be more active and find time to spend more time with my niece and nephew. Take them out, especially Rosalie, and be able to, because she's older, she can do a lot more. So do those things. Take her to the playground, the park, anything. I'm challenging myself to do that, and you as well. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy some of these clips of these pictures and videos.
That's Goofy! Say hi, Goofy!
Wash the dishes, dry the dishes, throw the dishes away!
Is that
I gotta do some
fun?
work, I gotta do some work.
Bobby.
Yeah. Bobby.